Hello, my friends. David Dom here. Welcome to episode number 3 of the Higher Self podcast. If you want to get all of the show notes, you could go to daviddom.com/3, the number 3. So today's message is extremely important. It is, you have tremendous power within your hands. So do I. We all do. Now, this power actually lies in our response, and so it has to do with the pause, which is a big part of like my book and everything that I've been working on. Simply pause, and in that pause, you have the ability to have some power and strength. Viktor Frankl, actually, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, has a quote, and I'll paraphrase because it probably won't be exactly right, but the quote is, "In between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space, we have the ability to choose our response. And in that choice and response is our growth and our freedom." So that's huge. So I want to go into that message for you. But before I do, I wanted to, first of all, again, welcome you to episode 3 of the Higher Self podcast. We're always looking for guests. You could go to the contact form on the site and suggest a guest that has anything to do with what we do. Getting in touch with your higher self, mindfulness, etc. What I would also like to do is mention that we're currently building out the Higher Self Academy, where there's courses that people could take online about mindfulness, inner peace, self-esteem, anxiety, depression, things of that nature, yoga, meditation, any courses that have to do with those type things. I'm looking to speak with the teachers, because what I'm doing is I'll actually feature your course in the academy and you get to keep all the money. I only need like 5%, if that, to cover the fees, but you get to keep all the money made from the sales of your courses in the academy. There is a catch, but I'm sure you'll like it and you'll be impressed. So go ahead, you could go to daviddom.com/teachers, or just hit the contact form on the site and let's talk. I think you'll be very excited about the proposal. Mainly one thing, you get to keep all the money, and obviously helping others comes into play as well. So let's talk if you're a teacher and you have an online course. So here's the idea. We have the ability to influence our life, the trajectory of our life, other people's lives, and it's really important, and it's almost so simple that it just slides right by. And it's part of the human condition. Whenever there's a situation and we feel that there's a problem and we're uncomfortable and we're disturbed, something I learned is that when we're disturbed, there's something wrong with us. So keep that in mind, and that's always something to keep going back to. But the idea here is that the tremendous power that we have is the ability to actually take 100% responsibility for our own selves and our actions in any given situation. I know that sounds simple, but it's not easy. It might be simple, but it's definitely not easy. I found myself in a situation recently where I was frustrated and confused and upset and, kind of disillusioned with myself, but I was still finding myself wanting to blame the other individual in this relationship and in this situation. And it just came naturally to blame, but to say, but she, or but they, as soon as you start to say, but they did this, or but she made me feel, you're screwed. Because it's not true. Nobody made you feel anything. You felt it because that's your emotions, and you're dealing with your own emotions, which is perfectly fine. And the problem is that when we point the finger or we try to put the blame and say, but if they hadn't have done this, I cover this in my book, a whole chapter. It's on being okay even if. Here's the tremendous power. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about your situation? Are you going to blame the other person? Are you going to look at the other person's involvement as if that's the reason for the dysfunction and that there's a problem at all? The minute you do that, you're screwed. You're responsible for everything going on in your world. Everything happening in your life right now, you have to take 100% responsibility for. And you might say, well, but I'm not comfortable with it. Okay. You've chosen to be in it. So whatever's going on, you've chosen to be in it. And this isn't just only about relationships. It has a lot to do with the tremendous power that you have in any situation. What are you going to do with what you have to work with? It could be in your career. It could be in anything virtually that you want to take on. You are an amazing, unlimited human being. What we do is we learn throughout our life how to be unworthy and how to be less than. So when we take on something new, we find ourselves thinking, maybe I'm not able to do this. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I can't pull it off. Maybe I might fail. I could tell you from experience, if you're thinking maybe you might fail, you might. But I could tell you this, that failure is really not a failure, it's just a result. And in that result will be a lesson that you can learn and take into the next taking on that you do, the next thing that you do, the next relationship, the next action towards your career or your next project. It's an amazing opportunity every day that we have to take 100% responsibility for everything in our life, especially our reactions or our responses that we don't take long enough of a pause. And I covered that the whole concept of pausing is what was wrapped up initially in my book, Living in the Pause. It's our emotions. It's being okay even if everybody's not doing exactly what we need them to do in order for us to feel comfortable. So we have tremendous power. What we have to do is use that power. The fact of the matter is, you could do whatever you want to do. You can. You just have to believe that you can do it. And whatever you do, don't look to point the finger or blame someone else. Look at yourself. You can only control. It's crazy. I found myself doing it recently. I've done so much work, and the first prayer every morning that I pray is the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And yet I still stumble, and I still fall, and I still fail. But I'm trying to learn from all those failures these days, and it's working. So, again, welcome to this podcast. I'm excited. This is episode number 3. Again, if you want to get all the notes on this or any other links or additional materials, you can go to daviddom.com/3. I'm excited that you're involved and that you're able to take in this information. Thanks so much. Take care.